Hello and welcome to DVxUI, and today in this video we are going to create this section. Well, DV, this is an ordinary section. What we can learn from this? Well, I received hundreds of messages that you wanted me to create a responsive design, and when you requested it so much, I searched on the YouTube if there are any responsive tutorials. What I found was there are, but there is a one problem. They have created separate designs for three layouts, which are mobile, desktop, and the tab. Well, how can we make this simple? This was my primary target, and then I created this section. Well, this section is totally responsive. Let me show you how. So here we have the frame. I will take this, cut it from here, and then over here I want to paste it. And I did it just to show you that how it changes with the change in the size of the frame. So as you can see, I have different sizes over here. Let me hide this Figma UI. So as you can see, I have different sizes over here. Now when I select my frame and I resize it to the laptop, it changes its dimensions. And then if I further reduce it down, it will change it again, and this will always be responsive. Let me make it 400, and now this is for the mobile. How great it is. So this is exactly that we are going to design in today's video. So let's get started. Well, before starting designing process, we need to understand what we have been given on the screen. As you can see, we have the pages over here, and under pages currently I'm working on the YouTube, that's why it is highlighted. And then here you will find all the layers that I'm going to be putting on this frame. So suppose if I put a rectangle over here, it will be visible right here. Let me delete this, and then you will see I have something called resources. So double click on this grid icon and you will go to resources frame, and these are the resources that I'm going to be using while designing that section. Well, I think this much of the intro is more than enough. Let's start designing that review section. So to design that, we need a frame first. So to get a frame, what you can do is you can click F on your keyboard, or you can go to this grid icon and select it. Then under desktop, you will find this desktop. Just click on it. And now since this is very small, we need to zoom in. So to zoom perfectly, what you can do is you can hold Shift and you can press 2. And this will zoom to perfect. Now since we have this over here, let me rename it from here. So I'm going to rename it, let's say responsive, not auto layout. So responsive. And I can see the height of this frame is way too large. We need to reduce it down. So the height can be controlled from here, and we can make it 800. We will put in the middle. And now we have a structure of our background ready. Now I will select this and provide a corner radius of 80. Then what I can do is I can change the color to something like a darker shade. So this color is also present in the resources. Let me show you again. So this is the exact color that I'm using in my design. So let's go back to the responsive frame. So now we have this frame over here. Now what I also want to do is I want to provide some border to this just to make it look even more attractive. Since we are not going to master only the responsiveness, we are also going to focus on the visual design part of this section. So to apply border, I will select this, and then in the stroke I will enable it, and then I will write FF, which is a code for the white. So 6 times F is the code for the white color. And now since the border is very thin, we need to increase the weight. I will select it again, go to stroke, and in the weight I will write 6. Now this is very prominent. What we need to do is we will reduce down the opacity to 30%. And now when we have reduced the opacity, it is not visible. As you can see, there is no white border. So it is because the position of the border is inside, and since it has the opacity, that is why we are not able to see it, although it is there. So we just need to change this to outside. And now a slight border is present and this looks quite amazing. Now we are moving to the next part of this background designing. So for that we need a circle. So to get a circle, what you can do is you can hit O on your keyboard, which is a shortcut for the ellipse. I will drop it over here, something like this. You can also select it from here. And now I need to change the dimension of this circle. So the circle is going to be quite big. So in the layout, first of all, I will clip it, because if I don't do that, let me show you. So if I don't do that and change the height to, let's say, 300, the shape will not preserve its dimension. So what we need to do is we need to make it 100 again and then clip it. Now if I change it to 300, the shape will preserve its dimension. But we don't want a 300 pixel circle, we want a much larger than this one. So in the width, I'm going to write 1720, and the height is also changed and the circle is quite big now. We will put in the middle. So currently it is on the right, so I will use this alignment tool and put it in the middle. Make sure you are using these alignment tools. These are very much important while creating the responsive design. Why? Let me tell you why. So when you align it by using this alignment tool, you are not only aligning it, you are also setting up the constraints. So when I make it at the center, you see this horizontal positioning is set at the center, and now it is completely fixed on the center. Let me change the dimension of this responsive and show you how. So now as you can see, the circle always stays in the center. So this is how constraint works. We are going to use it a lot in this video and you will get a good knowledge of constraints and auto layout. Just believe me and keep following the tutorial. Now what we need to do is we need to change the color of the circle. So I will change the color to this one. And then what I also need to do is I need to make it a concentric circle. So I need to take out this part of the circle. How can we do that? Let's zoom out. And here you will find a small dot. I will push it back and it will open the mouth of the circle. And then I will push this back. Then I will close it again. And from here, the ratio can be controlled. Basically this width. So from here, I will change it to, let's say, 56. And I will put it a bit up. Somewhere here. Yeah, perfect. And now I will make one more circle. So just copy paste, make it small. I know it will not be visible, so let me provide a white color. And the ratio for this one is going to be 94. So like a thin band. This will also be placed at the center. Make sure it is at the center. And now what we are going to do is we are going to select this bigger one and then provide a gradient to this one. So from here you can switch to gradient and a gradient will be provided. What I want to do is I want to take it and put it over here so that the gradient is more visible and more prominent. And now as you can see, this is looking amazing. Well, now we need to work with the effect part of the circle. What do I mean by that? Let me show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both of these first. So both these circles. Then go over here in the effects. I will enable it and then I will switch to noise. And now you will find that small noises have been added on these two circles. I will zoom out and now I will select this bigger circle. Make sure you have selected only this bigger circle. And then in the effects again, I'm going to add one more effect. and from here I will change it to layer blur, and the layer blur amount is going to be 244, and this will give you a glare effect to this circle. And then I will select the smaller one, again one more effect, which is going to be layer blur, and this time the value is going to be 124. Hit enter, and this is how an amazing background has been created. Now if I start designing, then these two are going to interfere with whatever I'm going to do in this section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock them in their position. But first, let me check if they are working perfectly with the responsiveness. So in the constraint, you need to make sure that the horizontal constraint is set to center. It means that horizontally it is attached to the center and vertically it is attached to the top. So when it is in the center, it will preserve the shape. And now if I select this frame and change the size, you will see the effect is at own place, which we wanted. Now let's go back. Let me select it again and shift and 2. And now it's time to lock them. Let's lock both. Perfect. Well, if you are wondering that how do I know about the colors, about the circles, and about how to make visual design more appealing, let me tell you my secret. Well, I have been working on this field for a long time, and I have revised all my knowledge in a website, which is redoui.com. You can go here in this website and start your journey with the UI UX. Well, this is not only a website. What you can do is you can learn the principles and the concept behind a great design. So if I open this UX laws and psychology and go here in the Gestalt principles, you will see a principle has been provided over here, which is law of proximity. At the end of every lesson, you will find there is a challenge which you can complete and mark done your learning. Well, we recently also launched the daily challenges. You can go here and provide your email and then start your challenges. Daily for the next 120 days, you will be presented with a challenge which you need to complete, and this will help you build your portfolio. Well, let's go back to the designing. Now what we need to do is we need to start putting element on this section. So first element is going to be the text. I will take a text and here I'm going to write responsive section. You can write anything. The size of this text is going to be 20, which can be controlled from this typography, and it is going to be regular. And then I'm also going to provide it an auto layout. So you need to use a shortcut which is Shift and A, or let me tell you one more method. So you can right click on this text and use this add auto layout. This will do the same. Now the padding is 10 by 10. What we need to do is we need to make it 14 by 8. And if you see, the padding is not visible. So we will select this and provide it a stroke of white color and a weight of 1. But the color is going to be 30%. We also need to provide a corner radius, a full corner radius. And I think we can increase the weight of this border. So let's select it and change it to 2. Yeah, perfect. Now I will select this, make sure it is at the center, put it at the top, and let's see what is this gap. So you can hold Alt and then go out of this element and you will see the gap is 97. I want something around 74. So 77, 1, 2, 3, and we are 74. Perfect. Now I'm going to take a text again, and here I'm going to write our reviews. Select it, change the font size to 64 of medium. This is also going to be in the center. Put it up. And now we need to write some subtitle over here. For that, take a text again and here write people use it, they love it. And this is not going to be this big. Select it. Change the font size to 18 with regular font weight, and the fill color opacity is going to be 60% so that it is not as prominent as this main text. I will also take a line, put it over here, something like this. Let me zoom in. And then from the dimension, the width of the line is going to be 140. The rotation is going to be 0 degrees. And the stroke color opacity is also going to be 60%, same as this text. Now what I'm going to do is, this part is very crucial. Now we need to take care of the responsiveness so that this part of this section don't lose the constraint when I'm changing the width. So I will select both these two and put them in auto layout by using this icon. You can also use Shift plus A. And now as you can see, the line is at the bottom. Well, it is because the alignment is set at the bottom. We don't want that to happen. We want it at the center. Now I will select this auto layout and this text and put them in auto layout once again. So from here in the auto layout, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one and make sure the width is fill. As you can see, a small fill is over here. I will select it, the complete auto layout, and then in the gap I'm going to provide 2. Now I will select this one and this auto layout and put all of them in auto layout once again. So the gap is going to be 12, not 18. And let's see if it is perfect. Yeah, everything is great. And now if you see, a lot of mess has been created over here. Now what you can do is, or what we do professionally in designing, we rename these sections to be more meaningful. What we can do with this one is, we can select this and write here text review with a slash. And then what we can do is, we can select this one and write text slash responsive. Then select this one and write main text. So this is how you can rename it, just to keep everything clean and perfect. Now let's see. If I select this and change it, you will see the our reviews stays at its position. We don't want that to happen. We want it to move along with the width change. So let's go back, select this one, and you will see the constraint is set from left and top. What we want is either to set it from the top only, or what we want to do is we want to set it from the top and right and left. So how can we do that? So over here you will see the vertical constraint is set to top, which is perfect, but this horizontal is set to left. We need to make it left and right. And now let me resize it and you will see something. As you can see, this is just starting. Well, why it is happening? Let me tell you. So I will just go back, select this section, and now you will see I have done a rookie mistake, and it is that I made the constraint of the horizontal from left and right. What this means is it has to be on this position only. What I wanted is, I wanted it to stay on its position, but not change the dimension or the alignment of the content inside this frame. So what we can do is, instead of left and right, we can make this center. And now when I select this and change it, you will see this is resizing perfectly. Now let's go back. And now let's start designing the cards over here. Well, for those cards to be completely aligned with our review section, what we need to do is we need to use layout guide. So I will select this, and then over here I will enable the layout guide. Go to columns, make it 16 in the count, and in the margin it is going to be 120. And you will see red bars have appeared over here. Now these are going to guide me throughout the process of designing the cards and putting them on this section. Now to design that review card, what we need to do is, what I have seen beginner doing is, they take a frame and start designing something like this. So they take a frame, then fill it, and then start putting the text, which is a wrong approach. When you are designing responsive designs, the approach is quite different. So we need to delete this one and also this frame. Then we will take a text. Yes, exactly. We are going to start with the text. And let me write lorem for the placeholder. And then go to a website which is lorem ipsum, just to get the dummy text. And now from here, I will copy this much of the text. So just copy it from the lorem to valith. Now go back to the design and instead of just lorem, paste all of my text. Now I will resize it so that I can see all of them at once. And before making it responsive, we need to work with the appearance. So I will select this, and then the outfit is great, which is going to be the font family. The size is also good, which is going to be 20 with regular font weight, but this width is going to be changed, which is going to be 280. So from here I can change the width to 280, and now you will see this is a lot of text for the review. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to just remove this line. Perfect. Now I will select it, put it over here, and now we need an avatar and the person name with designation over here, because reviews are always set by a user. So for that, we will go over here, take a frame, drop it over here, fill it with a color which is going to be white, and lock it so that if we change the dimension to 70, the width will also be changed. The corner radius is going to be 100, and in this way a frame will be converted into a circle. I will put it over here, and then I will go to plugins, but not like that. I don't want to select my circles, so go out. Now here I will go to plugins, and then I need a picture. So for that picture, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to manage plugins, and over here I'm going to write unsplash, run this plugin, and now over here I will search for person. Let's select this one, put it over here. Well, this is quite large, so reduce down some of the size. Now cut it, and inside this frame I'm going to paste it, make it even smaller. Perfect. Now put it over here, take a text and write her name, which is going to be Carolina Abbott with a single B. Copy paste it, and here I'm going to write business owner. Now let's work on the appearance of these text. So I will select the name first and change the font size to 24 with medium font weight, and then I will select this one, which is business owner, and 20 and regular is good, and the color is going to be with 70% of the opacity. Yeah, perfect. And now the crucial part, you need to select these two texts and put them in auto layout. Make sure the auto layout is at the center, so align left at the center. The gap between them is going to be 2, and I will select this, make sure it is fill, and this one is also fill. I will select this one and make it hug content. I will select it, put it something like this, select this picture, and then put them in auto layout. Since they are inside the auto layout, we can change this gap, which is going to be 24. Now what can happen is, in a very small screen size, this will be squeezed and the UI will lose its responsiveness. So we don't want that to happen. So what we are going to do is, instead of making it flex, as you can see, this is horizontal. So we have one element over here and the one element over here. This makes it horizontal. Now I will select this and I will make it wrap by using this icon. So now when this changes, it will go down. And now this gap is also 24, which is going to be 6. And now when I increase the size again, and this will adjust accordingly, which is great. Now I will select this. So from the width, it is 280. I will select this and these two, put them in auto layout together. Make sure it is hug content. And now in the padding, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to provide 40 in the horizontal and 40 in the vertical. I know it is not visible. So let's fill it with the color, which is going to be white, but the opacity is going to be changed, which is going to be a lot less, 5%. And now I will also provide a stroke of white color with the weight of 2, and the opacity of the color is going to be, let's say, 20%. Yeah, perfect. And the corner radius is going to be 74. And in this way, our card component is ready. So yes, our card component is ready. We just need to make few copies of this. So select this one, then Ctrl D and D for the 2 copies. And now I will select all of these, use this icon to align them perfectly, and then I will use this alignment tool to align them at the center, put them in the very middle. The gap between them is going to be 22, which is perfect. And now what I need to do is, I need to put them in auto layout once again. So I have selected all these 3 and put them in auto layout. Let's zoom out. And now I will make it something like this from here as well. And now you will see these cards have been moved to the left. It is because the alignment is left. We need to make it center. So now this is perfect. And the constraint is also set to the top and left. We need to make it center. And let's resize it and see how it works. So let's select this one, change it, and you will see the cards are not very responsive. Well, there is a reason for this. Let's go back, select this one, and you will see the auto layout is set to horizontal. We need to make it wrap. Now when you do that, if I select this one and change the size again, nothing is happening. Why is it so? Let me go back, select it, and it is set to center. We need to make it left and right. Now select again and let's see. And now it is working perfectly. Let's go back and let me align them perfectly. So the gap is 76. I want around 60. So now the gap is 60. Perfect. And now I also need to make some indicators over here. So for those indicators, let's zoom in. Take a circle using O. Put it over here. Clip it. Change the height to 12. Make a copy of it. Select both. Put them in auto layout. Select one of them. Make 2 more copies. Select all, put them in the center, make sure the alignment is center and the top, put it a bit down, and let's change this to white color with 30% of the opacity, but this particular circle is going to have 100% of the opacity. Now let's see. Yeah, perfect. We can select it and put it over here. And now let's check once again. If I select this, change the size, everything changes, but this stays at its position. Why is it so? Let me tell you why. Let's go back, select this one, and the constraint is set to the top. We need to set it at the bottom. Even if we do that, the height is not that large, but if the height changes, it will also change its position. Let me show you how. So I will select this one, change this to a mobile one, and it is over here. Let me make the size bigger, and you will see this has been placed over here. So now when you change the height, the complete frame will be responsive. So let's just go back because we need to do one more thing. And that one more thing is the decoration. First of all, let's select this frame and remove this layout guide. And yeah, it looks amazing. Let's go to the resources, copy this one, go to responsive section again, paste it over here, something like this, and then I will put it at the back by using this send to back, and you will see it has been sent to the extreme back. I want it above these circles, so I will select this one from here and put it over here. And what I can also do is I can select my cards, all of them, go to effects, then switch to background blur and provide a value of 24. And in this way, a background blur will be visible, as you can see. Now I will select it once again, copy paste, put it over here, change the dimension to 3, let's say 400, put it over here. And now you need to make sure few things. The constraint for this decoration has to be left and at top, and for this one it has to be left and top as well. Now if I select my responsive section and change the size, you will see everything is working perfectly. But there is one fault, and let me tell you what. So when I do that, the readability over here is sacrificed. Let's go back first. So Ctrl Z, we are here, and now I will select this and put it over here, something like this. Now click on the canvas, go to show hide UI, then hit F11 key on your keyboard, select it, Shift and 2 for the perfect zoom. And now if I change the size, let's say like this, the section is very much responsive and it is working perfectly. Well, this is what we wanted to achieve, and we have achieved it very greatly. Well, I hope your queries for the responsiveness is now solved. This video is very detailed about the responsiveness and about the way you can make your website responsive, and I think you learned something. Well, with this, it is time to say goodbye. We will meet in the next one.